Ansary here, May 23rd, 2017. There's a lot of people out there that believe that they're targeted individuals. And for years I've been saying that I believe for the most part we're seeing spiritual attacks. There's something about us humans, the energy that we emit and things of that nature, there's something very unique about it. It seems that most humans are having their strings pulled to some degree. Okay, so we're exerting this energy, we're taking in energy. I also think about some of these major cities. I often reference cities that I know best, places like Portland, places where people will kind of feed off those energies, but that which you feed off also feeds off you when it comes to energies. There's a reason why I moved out of certain areas, a reason why I moved out of that area. I'm also realizing how sensitive that I am where I moved to. And just because I moved out more into nature doesn't mean there aren't people around, distractions around, other energies around, other things that I could perceive as threats around, and traumas. Recently went through something when I went back to work, and I'm going to be summarizing this. I've mentioned it in a previous video at greater length. An attractive younger girl asked me about my ethnicity, and I responded to it with fear. And I realized that that aspect of myself that's been targeted spiritually overreacted. You see, I'm responsible for maintaining a calm demeanor and not living in a world where I'm paranoid about certain things and where I'm feeling so overwhelmed with pain that I feel that the only solution is to walk out the door. No, the alternative solution would have been to get to know that young girl and to offer her some more information about myself, perhaps in a better atmosphere other than behind the friggin' bar at work. So sometimes we can find ourselves, because of the spiritual attacks on our own person, are our own thoughts our own? Do we always make the best decisions in our own lives and with regards to relationships? Sometimes do we not act a certain way when we should act a certain way, and vice versa? Are there certain moments in your own life where you've self-sabotaged in a way that was just profound? Now, let's talk about a lot of people hearing voices. Yes, I think that there is government technology that is being used, but I also think that Earth is a place where humans are parasited on, and that there seems to be something very sophisticated about what's going on. So people that believe that they're targeted individuals, i.e. being gang-stalked, they'll report on spiritual attacks upon their person, or people beating up on them where it doesn't really make sense that people should. One woman who doesn't have a home, that lives in the Washington area at the moment, where she is residing in her vehicle, she's found herself bullied and insulted on social media, and she's calling them out as gang stalkers. And unfortunately, that's only going to result in them, in their own minds, going, yeah, she's crazy. She thinks we're gang stalking, but they're not realizing that they're taking on that bully stalking, and in reality, they are gang stalking in a way. You know, and showing or saying, yeah, I've seen that person, that homeless person. What are they doing in our community? What they're doing is they're being cruel. And I would say that they're acting upon that archonic consciousness. And that's why I personally get defensive if someone wants to know first about my ethnicity before they ask me what I write about or what I talk about or what kind of a guy am I. Not, ooh, you look nice. What's your ethnicity? What's your breed? And that person may not have meant it in the wrong way, but it resulted in me removing myself from that environment. So I would say that it's increasing. I've noted an increase with the solar cycles, with the solar flares specifically. Research what is the solar maximum period as opposed to solar minimum period. And I noticed in places like Portland, and I'm sure if you're in a major city, you can notice the correlations as well. An increase in people talking to themselves, an increase in crime in the news, an increase in this and what, and mania and all different types. It really knows no color. It knows no color, it knows no sex. We've seen crazy men and women of all different stripes and creeds in city areas and urban areas. And I was going to say rural areas in the middle of nowhere. I've got a neighbor next door that screams the N-word and the J-word. And I'm sure he feels similar about other groups as he fires his gun off into the air. He can't run from the madness. So it really seems like there is an entire planet of targeted individuals, but those doing the targeting, those powerful entities doing the targeting, they're above alphabet soup agencies. And if people want to start talking about those forces of evil, they sound crazy. They sound crazy to today's man and woman. Even though we've got churches and we've got cathedrals and we've got religions. Okay, well, let's talk about the battle of good and evil and humans right now being targeted by something that supersedes and probably controls government and these wars. There's technologies, voice-to-skull technologies that they've been using on the Middle Eastern people, by the way. And people cite this over and over and over. But I respond and say, just because we know that technology exists, the voice-to-skull technology as used in the Middle East, electromagnetic mind weapons, as freaky as it is, that's not all that's there. And there's ways that I believe these spiritual parasites can program humans while they sleep. And what is it about the power grid? You know, they've laid out this smart grid and these smart meters and attached them to many people's homes in the city by force. You're gonna allow us to attach this to your... And by the way, folks, we're all going digital. Yay! As the corporations gobble up more and more. And so they control the programming on the corporate programming more and more. And right now, I'm sure you've heard about us YouTubers getting a major hit. This is the first month in several years since I started getting just a few dollars every month for the YouTube AdSense for some of the videos that I put out there, and went from like a few hundred to something, right around 500 a month, to blam, no check. And so we're seeing a result of the corporate blowback as people go to channels like this, independent content, for information. There's a lot more information, though, in specific relation to what we're discussing right now with psychic attack, the archons. But on the other end, again, you have gangstalking, and you have people talking about being targeted individuals of a gangstalking program. And I would say to those individuals watching now, you should reel in your anger at anyone trying to give you additional information, trying to help you. I've seen those videos where people are ranting, and don't you tell me it's the archons. Don't you tell me it's a... Whoa, dude, where's your defensiveness coming from? And I've actually, it's quite sad. But I've mentioned before that I'm at least half Middle Eastern origin. And on earlier in life, the last few years, the only other person of Middle Eastern origin that contacted me was trying to convince me that I was being gang stalked. It was very sad that this person who was being targeted of something was trying to be forceful to convince me of what was reality and to downplay my research into what I think is far larger. I mean, think about the idea that we're clones of something that's observing us from on high. You're trying to tell me that I'm discount the fact that something real is going on? I would step back and take another look. There is something going on. It's big. It can involve human beings. What I'm saying is, in my own life, I never got into it in this video. But let me just paint you a broad brush. I've experienced the Agent Smiths of this world, where you go into a certain situation and someone goes archon or cruel on you, or starts wielding their sword of authority. You start a new job and all of a sudden you got somebody fucking with you. Why are you fucking with me? I'm just trying to come up in the world and do my thing. And why are you trying to bring this up? Why are you trying to hit those? Why is this happening now? And so I've gone through a lot of those things. And because I speak about these things on YouTube, I call it energy blowback. Because I'm in the business of waking people up. So I can protect myself and my mind to a degree from the archons. Protecting others, not so much. Doesn't matter how good I walk into it, it's like my light just causes the demons, the bats. We're in bat country. the bats around certain people in bars. I try to go out in regular life, folks. I don't just try to do this all the time, live on my computer and be programmed by YouTube. No, I want to go out and live life. I go out and I live life as someone that I feel is being targeted on a spiritual level. I respond to that blowback. Or I receive it. I witness it. And I try to respond in a calm way. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy, but that's what we're responsible over. Is how I respond to that which is going on. I'll tell you what, the fine line between sanity and madness is that arena of psychosis, when you think they're all out to get you. And you got to realize that's part of the agenda. That's where they want to take you and break you. Once you start realizing patterns, you're going, oh my God, like how the fuck did this just happen? Someone has it in for me. They have it. Okay, then you start looking at what's going on. Is there a synchronicity occurring? Because yes, in fact, it seems like the evil of this world is reading our minds and using our weaknesses against us. And it seems to come through those humans. Don't think those humans know what they're doing. Humans can act on subconscious cues from the universe or the chords of the Borg, of the hive mind. And listen carefully. They may not even know why they're doing what they're doing. This may seem like a crazy concept to you, and so you and I have to navigate this matrix without losing our shit when we start seeing the Agent Smiths of this world popping up. They don't even know what they're doing. Someone wants to bring up something about your ethnicity or hit a button or ask you about your... And I noticed when I was in my greatest level of defensiveness regarding certain personal topics to me, I've seen the matrix flare up. And people on cue, as if they're a robot, as if they're just receiving some unconscious stimulus. Say this to Alex. This will really put him over the... And I can give you example over example after example. I can tell you about the neighbors one day talking about eating and raping Iranians and going, whoa, why would this happen around the fire while they're drunk? It's as if they're demons working through them around that fire. Don't know what it is. Maybe some jinn thing going on. Jinn, archon, same thing, demon. Don't get caught up in the word. Now let's talk about the people that are just, no, it's the government. It's the government. Is that not demonic? I mean, seriously, you're talking about black vans and also, see, you're talking about different programs at once. I'm not discounting that there are some people, as I try to wrap up my thoughts here, that may have had some unique experiences, and it may really be taking place. People being picked off, chosen to be in the program, microchipped, then targeted. But the symptoms that people are describing, most of them on YouTube, and I'll tell you what, folks, I start listening to those videos, I start hearing ringing in my ears. I'm aware that there is something on autopilot within the matrix that automatically starts attacking me with frequencies. I don't think it's the government. I know exactly what it is. It's something within this matrix. It sees us on those YouTube videos looking for information or going to certain websites, and if we're not doing the spiritual work, if we're not working to be grounded, if we don't know if our own thoughts are our own, if we're not getting decent water and sunlight, and I'm really trying to change my lifestyle, folks. From here on out, I've been living off the grid, but it didn't matter. I found out that, unless you start being more serious about certain things, and that includes continuing to speak on YouTube. We can take a little bit of time off, but we can't let those forces of darkness push us or silence us through any particular means. Whether it be removing AdSense or creating online harassment campaigns, which I notice seems to happen to particular people a lot. And then other people that are involved in deceiving sometimes get a free pass from those people with too much time on their internet that could really be exposing people that are doing ill to others. But the internet can be a massive conduit for spiritual entities. When people are concentrating their negativity into these portals, and you got energy going back and forth, there are like these psychic cords, I think, that humans are creating with other humans through these servers that are going through strange places, that are going through these middle energies, if you will. It's as if an aspect of the internet is to really map out human thought and emotion for AI. For something big. So, my heart goes out to people that are suffering, but when people try to give you basic advice about certain things, it's for a reason. It may sound crazy at first, but take a look at what some other people are saying or what you're saying. Okay, it can come across a little crazy to others. Keep your mind open to things that people are trying to tell you. For example, before this video is over, you hear about getting away from the city. Why is that? You're dealing with a lot of electromagnetic pollution, cell phone towers, buzzing back and forth, and you have these humans that are living, within this Sauron's tower, you know, and people are just basically being fried by this energy. I believe that this same energy that I'm talking to you about, this electromagnetic energy, that's the cell phone towers, that's the chemtrails interacting with the smart meters, sets up this grid for those entities, and it's concentrated in those urban environments. Yes, it's difficult to live off the grid. Now you realize why some people may choose to be homeless, or live outside these dense population centers, or live on the road, or live out in the nature. Especially in recent years, I don't even think that they fully realize why it is that they're seeking to be closer to nature. I'm not saying you go out to nature and avoid these entities. I've proven that you can't. But if you are serious about it and your health, and you go somewhere where the air is cleaner, it's not one big smog, dense, like field of energy, that is major. Stepping away from things that you're addicted to. Stepping away from dating. Some people go their own way. Men and women. Women and men. They go their own way. You know, they take their backpack. They hit the road. They leave the pleasures of the flesh. They free themselves of the archon's grasp. So there's a reason why people should consider this rite of passage. Many adults have not. They found themselves addicted to technology, addicted to the grid, addicted to cell phones, addicted to these things. And now there are certain psychological disorders that are happening to certain places and certain dots on the map. We talk about Portland. We talk about the place that was the state's first mental hospital on Asylum Avenue, also known as Hawthorne. And then you look at some of the, not to laugh, but the unfortunate things that people really are going through psychologically while in the real Portlandia. And then you step back, take another look. You also see how things like solar flares and other celestial factors, full moons, can affect people that are already in the toxic, unhealthy electromagnetic pool of energy. It's a paranormal central. And it's almost as if our grid is set up to be that way. Are these people targeted individuals? Are we a targeted society? I say yes. But what is doing the targeting, right, is from a far, they call it higher, I don't mean more sophisticated, but it's a different place than where most humans have traced it. For now, we'll bring this conversation to a close. We'll come back. Join my forum if you have feedback on this topic. That's a great place to respond to some of the things that I put out there. That is alexansary.tv/forums, and we'll see you in the next video.